All right, our guest this morning is celebrating International Women's Day as well as Women's Month. She is a warrior. She is a defender. She's a wife. And she is hanging out with us on Friday, as always, with a busy, busy week ahead, working 7 days a week. Please welcome from Warrior Defenders, the one, the only, Holly Reese. Good morning, Holly.
Good morning, Ryan. It's great to be here today.
Great to have you with us. Go ahead. Great to have you with us.
Yeah, it's been a long week, but I'm glad that we could schedule this time to talk about an important thing this month for a lot of women. And since I talk to a lot of women year-round, International Women's Day,
Woo-hoo!
8th, International Women's Month is this month in March, along with all the other holidays we were talking about just before we got
I know, right? Now, it's funny how they put Women's History Month in the month of March when they know that the history of women is you're always busy, and they're going to make you even more busy with St. Patty's Day and Easter.
Yeah, all in 1 month. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, just make it easy. Go ahead.
Yeah, spring break coming up right after that, too.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, wow. I know people are having different spring breaks next week. Some have this week. And, wow, it's just one of those things that, it's a busy, busy month and everything. And so I'm just now getting that, hey, it's going to be St. Patty's Day this weekend. I'm forgetting all about that. I used to know that because I worked at a radio station that we went on the air live March 17th 1 year. So we remembered St. Patty's Day every year, but we didn't do that here. So I don't remember. Let's talk about Women's Month and everything. I know it's Women's Month. So what is International Women's Day as we get into that first, Holly?
Sure. International Women's Day and month is celebrated in different ways throughout the world, but in the United States, it was initiated as a holiday because in 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued this to the Americans to encourage recognition and celebration of women's historic accomplishments during the month of March. The week of March 8th was International Women's Day. So International Women's Week, and then in 1981, Congress declared the week of March 8th as International Women's History Month. So that is to celebrate all the accomplishments that have been done by women in so many levels of industry. So not only do women work hard in their families, taking care of their littles, but they also work hard taking care of their families and making sure everything runs correctly. Honestly, women are CEOs of their own households, so it's a lot of work for all of us to do, but adding careers to that is definitely something that needs to be acknowledged.
For sure. Women are important in our society. Where do you see this most?
Where I see this most is women supporting women and women-owned businesses and organizations. Women are entrepreneurs by most natures because they have to work to make sure that their households run. So that puts them right into the line to be entrepreneurs to run their own business. And they are a powerful force for innovation and economic growth. Not only, even if they don't have a career, women are in charge of their economy in their own house, so they are the ones that businesses market to. So they need to be acknowledged that we have the voice in our market and our economy, and for our accomplishments and what we've done in science, in astronauts, in travel. And one fun thing that I like to say is even back in the medieval days, and you were talking about royalty earlier this morning,
right?
Women, the queens, sat behind the kings and were counseling the kings to decide what they should do in their world powers.
That's true. And, not only that, you were talking about women counseling the kings. They do that in this day and time. They counsel their husbands. If they didn't, their husbands wouldn't know how to wash their hair or put the right clothes on.
Sometimes that's true.
No, most of the time.
There's also women who have ruled countries. I mean, Queen Elizabeth,
yes,
being one of the most recent monarchs. Cleopatra was a strong influence in her monarch as well. And if you look back in history, the actresses who have built whole style lines for both men and women to influence society on how we dress, and that's extremely important, and that has changed many, many times over the decades.
It definitely is. And one thing that hasn't been done quite yet, and I'm gonna go off into a different question of my own, since we just brought up all of the monarchies and the leadership, is we have not had a woman president. We've had senators, congressmen, all kind of things, governors, but we haven't had a woman president. And I'm good. This is gonna be controversial, and all the guys are going to kick me out. I'm ready for a female president myself. When do you think we will be able to elect a woman president? I'm not going to any kind of political party, but I'm just saying, when do you think this could be possible? When do you see that happening?
It's possible now.
Amen.
And that's what's so fascinating about what women have been able to gain their rights for so long, is that there was a time not long ago that women couldn't vote.
Yes.
And so now they have that opportunity. They also have the opportunity to rise above and accomplish every goal they want. So if there is somebody out there who wants to accomplish to be president, it's possible now, when years ago it wasn't. So it's fascinating to see how in a short period of time we have grown. And since, the 1980s was when this was established, that's not long ago that it was acknowledged,
right,
how important women were in society.
Well, the thing about it is, finally seeing a Women History Month, and every month now seems to have, we've had Black History Month for a long time in February, which I think is the shortest month, which I think is, kind of disrespectful, but should be on another longer month. But finally having a Women History Month and everything, knowing that women history is very important to us, and kind of overshadowing this month with all kind of holidays and family vacations and stuff. How important is Women History Month, International Women's Day, and all that to you?
I appreciate it because it's in the 1950s and things. If you go back to the advertisements that were made and how women weren't exactly treated properly in some of these advertisements, like it was okay to spank your wife in cartoons and things like that, that have changed. And because we now have more of a voice, we can be who we need to be. We can be our own heroes. We can be respected in the business industry. We're not looked down upon like way back in the 50s. There was secretaries, and they were kind of like looked down upon and not really treated respectfully. And now we have this acknowledgement in society where you can't go up and smack a woman on the bottom.
Amen.
Like that in a work environment. Yeah, so it's still there. We still have some work to do with some men who think they can do those things and talk disrespectfully or treat them a different way. But to me, celebrating the achievements of women's history is also in our own community. And to me personally, for the women that I meet so many survivors and ones who have stepped up, who have gained their life back from being in abusive or controlling situations, that those are the ones that have chosen to be free from their past and their traumas, and they learn to strengthen others and inspire others to do the same. And we have that voice now, so we should not be quiet when we feel like we're being disrespected, and we need to make sure that we stand up for what all these other women in the past have tried to give us the ability to have a voice. And when I meet these women, that is inspiring to me, and they need to acknowledge themselves of how far they've come as women, especially in the month of March.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing about it is, and guys, she's not saying your wife doesn't want you to spank her. That's just in private, not in public. But, but that's a whole different thing. But, there's this thing that I don't seem to understand, I guess because my mindset different than those 1968 mindset guys out there. I just don't understand. The only thing that I see in these people that are calling cancel culture and not understanding that, why can't you smack a woman on the butt? How's she just going to cause me to lose everything? Like that idiot that did that to that reporter a few years ago in Savannah, and everything. What I'm kind of comprehending, like I do when I talk about these same people who are that are racist and hateful against African Americans and blacks and everyone, I think they're just scared, not only because they think they're going to lose their spot, but they're scared because they know that the people that they're trying to push back down are a lot more educated than they think they are. And the reason these men do this stuff to you women that are like that is because they know that if you did have a chance to run the White House, it's like Sheriff says, the right woman would straighten this country out. I believe 110% that's true. They're just scared of women having opinions, is what it is.
And there's a fear to lack of understanding.
Yes.
So, and men think differently than women, so they don't really understand sometimes the logic that we use versus the logic that men use, and it's different. It's not wrong. It's just different. So they have to kind of use a section of their brain that they don't really know how to use, and that's not a fault. It's just we think it's different. The Mars and Venus concept is true.
It's true.
And a lot of men don't really want to go that part of their brain because they don't understand it.
Right.
If we could educate more men to understand women, and of course women need to understand men to know how to communicate with them. So there's a barrier of communication, and it's something that a lot of men haven't learned or are afraid to learn or don't understand. Like, if men don't understand that catcalling is offensive, even in this day and age.
Yes.
If you're walking in town, they will come up to you and think it's okay to touch you inappropriately and just walk on like they didn't do anything wrong. And it's in their mindset. Some men still in their mindset that women are still possessions. Way back in the day, women were possessions. They were the trophy wives. They were the ones who had to be the Leave It to Beavers and dress a certain way and present themselves a certain way. And we have the right to not look the way we want to look one day and be who we want to be. And sometimes I think there's still a possession for some men that think they have to possess a woman or have to possess a person, and to make themselves feel like that's what's supposed to be.
Well, they get that concept from great grandpa, because back in the day, women were not allowed to go out of the house and work outside the house. And in 2024, everything's different. And if a woman has an opinion, they just think that woman is just evil and she's just she's a feminist. And I'm like, it's not being a feminist just because a woman says, hey, you know what? I don't want to color my hair today. That's not being a feminist. Not want somebody to touch you. That's not being a feminist. You know what I'm saying? The thing that gets me, and I've always been this way, is when I see a woman walking down the street and we have to share the sidewalk, I try to get as far off the sidewalk as I can, away from them to make them feel comfortable, because I want them to know that, hey, I'm just going to wave at you and walk on by, but I'm going to be so far away from you, because I feel like that's being respectful.
That is something that I wish would come back more. Chivalry is not dead, but I wish that there would be more classes on chivalry for men. And there's also ladylike behavior classes. And
Yes. Yep.
those things should come back, not to put us back a few steps.
No, that's not.
Have respect for your fellow humans.
Right.
And to know how to show that respect to fellow humans on the street, and to not look at women a certain way to make them feel uncomfortable. So I appreciate that, Ryan, about you, because you see it from both sides, and that's something that a lot of men, I think, we just need to have those kind of classes for the younger ones so they know how to treat each other. And it's just being respectful as a human being to each other. It doesn't matter who you are.
It's got to be taught. And Pete, I got to drop this in here. It says, I worship my warrior queen. I just had to put that in there. Which is fantastic.
He knows how to take care of his shield maiden.
That's right. And I love hearing that. But it's going to take men like us, like Pete and myself, to just say things and not be afraid to say things, because we're not afraid to say things. And because here's the thing, other men are afraid that men are going to call them names, and they are going to be guys that pick at guys, and men pick at, you're whooped, your wife, da-da-da-da-da. But men like us, like Pete and I, we don't hear that kind of stuff from our fellow men, because they know that we're just going to be like, forget you. We don't care what you're saying. That doesn't bother us, but it's going to take more of us saying, because women like you are teaching other women how to be proper and how to speak proper and how to talk proper and be a woman. And as long as good men out there, I think we got majority of the people out here that understand this. It's just you got a few people that they want to live in that old school way, and they think that everything is cancel culture because we're celebrating women. We're celebrating Black History Month. We're celebrating Latino History Month. We're just celebrating our fellow human beings and their backgrounds, because 40, 50 years ago, even longer, like you said, they were never treated as humans.
And you can learn so much in these highlighted months. You can learn a lot about Black history in Black History Month. There's
I do.
People sharing things that you might not have known.
And I always do,
I
yes.
believe that every time you should never not stop learning.
Nope.
So there's always something to learn in this world. And the day that you've learned everything is probably the day you shouldn't be here anymore. So you always should be open to learning something about somebody else's culture, Latino culture, Black History Month, the women's accomplishments in science.
Yes.
There was a woman who discovered DNA.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't know that. And astrophysicists and nuclear scientists and all of this. So there's a lot of accomplishments that can be made from anybody, and they all need to be acknowledged.
It definitely is, and everybody has something to give, and everybody has something to contribute to society, and that's why our society is as far advanced as it is, because I could think of something, and then you could think of something different, and both of us are contributing to society, and that's building. And we've got millions and millions and billions of people in this world that have all kind of different ideas and everything. So, that's what I understand. I try to explain that to some people, but you still have people out there that Native American History Month as well. You're right, Pete. And women are not doormats. That's right, Cher. And the thing about it is, once we start learning to understand everybody has something to contribute, we'll be a little bit better off of in the world. And I mean, but you got those old school people that somebody's just telling them they're trying to take everything away from you. Well, I don't know how they're taking it away from you. All right, we celebrate Native American History Month, Latino History Month, Women History Month, Black History Month. What's that taking away from, anybody? That's just adding to our society, is what I'm saying.
It's adding to education. We have to educate ourselves. I mean, if we want to learn about a culture. Sometimes we're so busy in today's world that we would forget to learn. So bringing awareness every month to something that we can learn about is a great way to stay educated, and a reminder. We have holidays every year on different days for reminders of things that have happened in history, or like Martin Luther King Day to remember him, and all these things we remind ourselves. Washington's Day too, and President's Day, Memorial Day. Remind me to keep these things in mind, because we're so busy that we can forget and be sidetracked. You know, we try to remember when 9/11 happened.
Exactly.
Because we don't want to forget history. If we forget history, we'll repeat it.
Exactly.
If we forget the accomplishments of each culture, including women, we can repeat that we lost when we didn't have our rights, and now that we have more rights. And there's some countries who still haven't gotten to that point. And those are the countries where women are still suffering in, I guess the word best would be subjugation to laws. And one day it would be nice if we could all be equal.
It would be. It would definitely be. And you know, it's hard for someone who's, and I know this is, education is a big thing, what you just said, and getting out and visiting other cultures. I got out of the South years ago, went around, performed in bands, did all kinds of things, visiting people. I got a college degree and went out and explored the world, which is what we have to do. And a lot of these people, they live in their same little home, small towns, out in the woods somewhere, so they don't learn anything. If they see something on TV they don't like, they don't turn it. They turn it off. And I actually have heard people say, which is really made my skin crawl, that you should only have, the only people that should vote are the people with skin in the game, and that women should take women's voting rights away. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what year do you live in? Did you travel through the future? Did you go through Doc's time machine or something? You know, I mean, to me, it's just, I don't understand. And when you got women in your family and you got grandbabies and the thing about it is, you want to treat everybody equal. I treat all my grandkids the same way, equal, and they're young and everything. But I don't say one can't do something, the other can do something, and this, that, and the other. I just don't comprehend why these people don't want to learn. I mean, they're the ones that keep the hate moving on in the world.
Yes, and you know, now there's a lot of corporate companies out there that really promote to younger children, younger girls especially, that they can do anything they want to be, and they can accomplish anything they want to accomplish. The only thing that limits what you can accomplish is in your own mind, as long as the laws support the fact that you can go forward and move into a career or a job or things like that you can do. There's a lot of inspirational speakers out there who talk about their challenges and how they help to bring women up to a point in different careers. There's always going to be a first for everything, so one day there'll probably be a first woman president too.
I can't wait for that. I was wanting one this year, but that's a whole different. This season I was hoping for one. There was one I was pulling the whole time for and everything. And you're speaking of looking up to women. WNBA, there's still some stigma in women's sports, but Caitlin Clark, who was Iowa State, one of the top draws in the world of college basketball, women's college basketball. She's moving on to WNBA. That's a young lady that a lot of young ladies could look up to. You know what I'm saying? In the world of sports, you know, and you know.
And one thing that I would say is, if you're a young girl, and you should also be included in celebrating Women's International Women's Month, because those older women who are out here now doing something that you're admiring they're doing, just because they're the first doesn't mean you can't continue it. So if you see somebody out there that you admire and you're like, I want to be her someday, then drive for that goal to accomplish what you want to do in your dreams to do it.
Yeah, that's what I say. And, this has been a great conversation, Holly, and learning more about International Women's Day and Women's History Month and everything. You can go to your local libraries and find all kind of history, Amelia Earhart, Helen Keller. These are just to name a few top, and there's many, many more, but that's just to name a few top ones. And just to let everybody know, Helen Keller, the blind girl, she was born in Alabama.
Yeah, and there's a lot of history in the South for sure about women accomplishing a lot. You also have to realize that a woman made the flag.
Yes, of course, yes.
It's a lot of history involved in women, and definitely look it up anywhere on your search engine, and you'll find so many layers of women's accomplishments. It's amazing if you've never looked. You learn something every day.
Every single day. Well, Holly, let's go ahead and find out what you got coming up for us, and tell us how we can follow you and all that good stuff before we let you out of here.
Well, I have a lot of things happening in the women's self-defense, because we have to learn to defend ourselves from the ones who don't respect us.
Beat them down.
And we also have a lot of the fun events coming up for this month as well. So you can find me on warriordefenders.com. All my social media is out there, all my classes. I am teaching at the North Georgia Walmart at their community centers. It's a free program for the women in the community to attend those, to learn about self-defense. And we are also holding at the Collaborative in Baker Bags on 8 LaGrange Street. We are holding a women's trivia night for a fun night, and they can register by texting me if they want to come to that or find out more information about it. And we're going to be doing International Women's History Trivia. So we're going to learn a lot about women, their accomplishments, celebrating women, lots of ways to win prizes there too. So you'll have to check that out on the Facebook pages or Warrior Defenders, and all the events coming up for that. And if you're interested in any classes for any ages, 6 to 96, or I work with the corporate trainings as well for de-escalation, because women need to know how to handle themselves in the workplace when confronted with things like that. Just reach out to me. I'm here to help all women know that they have the ability, the right to be their own hero and to celebrate who they are, especially this month.
Sounds good. Guys, definitely follow Holly and everything. We'll have her back again next month as we head into April and everything. So, Holly, anything else you'd like to add before we let you get out of here?
Thank you for having me on the show. Celebrate who you are. Learn every day how to be the best person you can be. And young girls out there, if you're listening, don't give up on your dreams.
Definitely so. Anything else? That's it? Okay.
I'm trying to think. There's so many things. The Walmarts and the classes and I'm launching an Power Strike Back podcast coming soon. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have a lot of inspirational women sharing their stories and what they've done as entrepreneurs and how they succeeded in their lives.
And also, just as a surprise for everybody out there as well, since WQEE here in the Metro Atlanta area, Noonan, is a women-based, we have a lot of women-based programs here. Holly pretty soon is going to be bringing that show to the radio dial too.
I'm so excited for that one. I was waiting for you to say it, not me.
That's right. She's going to be
looking forward to that.
She's going to be bringing that too. So all of you guys, make sure, ladies out there, for sure, we want you to be a part of the station because we are very heavy based with supporting our women at this station. All right, we thank Holly once again from Warrior Defenders. Follow her and go to some of her classes. Be a part of all of her classes, and you can also visit you downtown Noonan. Am I right?
Yes, in Baker Bags, collaborative location on the 8 LaGrange Street. We have 3 businesses in that location, and I have my retail store there, and then classes and warrior workout there too as well. So there's always ways to find me or shop your self-defense tools when I'm not there, and I might be traveling, teaching at a seminar. So come see us anywhere that we can help you be your own hero.
Sounds good. We're going to take a break. Come back in a moment, guys. We're getting ready to close out this edition of the Ryano Radio Penitentiary after this.